The government announced it's backing a change in the law so that people who kill emergency service workers face mandatory life sentences. The decision comes in the wake of the manslaughter convictions of 3 men convicted of causing the death of PC Andrew Parker in August of 2019. A Red Lion Chamber, Simon Spence, QC. A good talk to you today. Do you welcome this? So those putting their lives at risk for the rest of us, getting extra protection in the law and extra sentences for those who harm them?
I think it's important to say first off that emergency workers and particularly police officers are already protected by the sentencing regime in place. So anybody convicted of the murder of a police officer, for example, can expect a much harsher sentence than somebody who's responsible for the murder of somebody who's not an emergency worker. I think that.
So what does this, just clear it up for us, what does this law change?
This law is for a killing of a police officer or other emergency worker which falls short of murder. And murder is the only offence in this country which carries a mandatory life sentence. And the reason for that is because it's uniquely serious. One of the potential difficulties I can see with this proposed change in the law is that manslaughter, even involving the killing of a police officer or other emergency worker, can cover an entire range of circumstances. And having a one-size-fits-all sentence when the various potential factual circumstances can be so wide may lead in some cases to injustice.
And are you thinking of circumstances where perhaps somebody may have committed a crime, maybe being chased by the police, they maybe turn around and push the police officer or something, and that police officer then sustains an injury which kills him? It could be argued that they weren't necessarily trying to kill them, that they wouldn't necessarily intentionally be committing manslaughter.
Absolutely, because if that was the circumstance, then they would be committing manslaughter, not murder, and so the sentences are large. But it's a rather more complicated position than that, because it's possible, for example, to commit manslaughter for reasons of diminished responsibility, which means somebody is suffering from health problems, for example, which significantly reduces their responsibility for their actions. Now, people like that are often dealt with by the courts by way of restriction orders in a psychiatric hospital for treatment, rather than punishment in prison. And if somebody through mental health problems, for example, attacked and killed a police officer, if the court had to impose a mandatory life sentence, it could be argued that that is less just than providing protection from the public and treatment for the individual concerned. And that's one of my main reservations about this change in the law.
Priti Patel has tweeted just a short time ago, Andrew Parker was killed in the job he loved. Today we are honouring him by introducing Harper's Law. Do you think it's right that the law is used to honour somebody?
The purpose of the criminal law is to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. And the more you restrict the ability of the courts to tailor sentences to the particular offences, the more you are running the risk of causing injustice. And judges are uniquely placed, in my view, to determine the appropriate sentence in a particular case. And the less scope they have to reflect the facts of the case, the more difficult it is for justice to be done. And sentencing by public opinion or by Parliament preventing judges imposing certain sentences in certain circumstances is, to my mind, a rather slippery slope for us to be going down.
There will be those who will support it, who will say that this could potentially provide a deterrent to others to perhaps not behave as ruthlessly as they might if they are arrested by a police officer or towards the emergency services.
Well, I'm sure that's right, and obviously it has attracted a great deal of public support, and I don't want what I'm saying to be thought of as anyway undermining that. The point I'm simply trying to make is that the law, as it presently stands, does put police officers and other emergency workers in a separate category and does afford them additional protection already. And the difficulty with imposing mandatory life sentences on people who commit an offence less serious than murder, where there could be a whole range of reasons for why they behave as they do, potentially could cause injustice.
Do you think that it will then mean that we will see perhaps potentially more appeals if this sentence is handed down?
Well, if a mandatory life sentence is the only sentence that can be imposed, then of course that wouldn't in itself give rise to an appeal. But one of the other factors, which isn't clear at the moment, is whether the release provisions that currently apply to murder sentences will also apply to this proposed change of the law. Because of course not every life sentence means that somebody serves the rest of their life in prison. And there are in place provisions for people convicted of murder who receive a life sentence to have the possibility of being released on parole and on licence. It's not clear to me, and I don't think it's clear to anybody at the moment, what the suggestion is in relation to possible release provisions under this new law. And Parliament is going to have to look at that very, very carefully in order to make sure that justice can be done.
It's right, isn't it, to work out whether it's a life sentence or a whole life term. Simon Spence, QC, thank you very much for joining us. Interesting to talk to you.
Thank you very much.